Now, among the multitude of sins Australians like to commit is, of course, gambling, and it's widely expected that the federal government will apply some sort of restriction to gambling advertising in sport. A parliamentary standing committee last year recommended a total ban on the advertising of online gambling during sport within 3 years. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has also proposed a ban on gambling ads an hour each side of sporting events, and the Prime Minister has voiced his annoyance at wagering promotion during sport. So there is bipartisan support for some kind of ban. Well, the Daily Telegraph yesterday reported that NRL clubs are already making changes in anticipation of new laws, including Cronulla, which has reluctantly dropped the naming rights deal for Shark Park with PointsBet at the end of this season. Now, it'll obviously cost clubs millions of dollars in sponsorship. 14 NRL clubs have deals with betting companies, and the NRL itself is expected to lose in the vicinity of $50 million. Now, we don't have the numbers for the AFL, but it's pretty clear they'll be in the same boat. Like it or not, Australians are gamblers, and for most people it's a harmless pastime, a punt on the GGs on the weekend or a little bit of money on your footy team. Now, most of you, like me, if you have a punt, you gamble as much as you can afford to lose, and if you lose it all, well, that's just how the day goes. I mean, some people would drop $100 on some useless trinket. I'd rather do the form and try my chances at growing my kitty. The revenue clubs and leagues collect from gambling sponsorships and deals is, funnily enough, money that can be spent on the grassroots game, and that's often where it goes. But for all the talk about how evil online sports betting is, let's be real about what the numbers actually look like. The Australian Gambling Research Centre found in 2022 that 73% of adults gambled. Lotteries and scratchies are far and away the most popular form of gambling. 64% of Australians spend money on them. Then comes horse racing at 38% of adults, sports at 34%, and the pokies at 33%. But then look at the money. The latest data is from the Australian Gambling Statistics 2020-21, which was released last year. Gambling expenditure across the country was $24 billion. Lotteries, the most popular form of gambling, made up $2.838 billion. Wagering on racing and sport combined, the great evil that apparently needs to be stopped, was $5.815 billion. But expenditure on the pokies was $12.182 billion, just over half the entire gambling spend. So the form of gambling that comes in fourth on the popularity list caused people to spend more than lotteries, scratchies, racing, sport, casinos and Keno combined. In New South Wales, for the decade to 2020, poker machines resulted in 65% of all gambling losses, well above any other form of gambling. Poker machine losses per person in New South Wales, and keep in mind most of us don't put money through the pokies, was $1,042 in 2019-20, compared to $224 for casinos and just $186 for racing and sports betting. It's not sports betting that is the great social evil, it's the pokies. They're less popular than sports betting and cause people to lose far more money. And many football clubs, both AFL and NRL, make money from the pokies in their clubs. But I don't see any big national campaign to take them away.